The snow bunny in the African queen is the snow bunny will find a black man in progress. She will find him on the job. She will find him on the university. And that snow bunny will see a black man with potential and she will invest in him. She will help him level up. And then when the sisters see him 5 years ago, 5 years later, he's a millionaire. And the sisters say, look at that sellout. He went and got a white girl. But guess what? When he was looking for a sister to help him level up, to invest in him, none of them wanted it. You know why? Too many black women want a finished product. Black women have to, stay with me. Black women have to stop expecting men to be a finished product. It's harder on us. Help him level up. Stay with me. Help him level up and become what you need him to be. Because the big reason why these snow bunnies are running off with black men is they're meeting them when they have nothing, but they believe in their vision. And black women are waiting for him to cross the finish line. And by the time he crosses the finish line, the snow bunny then snatched him already.
I disagree. I just think that black women are willing to hold it down for the man. I feel like we're always there supporting them. And I think that if anything, black women get the short end of the stick. We don't get. A lot of times y'all do. We do. So and how I'll give you 3 short
sticks that y'all tend to get. Number one, black men need to stop telling y'all they're monogamous if they're polygynous. Too many black women are being manipulated into plural relationships that they didn't sign up with because of disingenuous men. Okay, I'm gonna have 2 wives. Dr. Umar gonna have 2 queens. If you don't like it, don't flirt with me. Leave it there. But I'm gonna have 2. I'm gonna be honest, right? Men have to stop manipulating women who looking for monogamy into polygamy. It's not right. You got a wife over here, you got a baby mama over here. You should have been honest up front. That's number 1. Number 2, black men have to stop holding women on an emotional leash, giving her the belief that you may one day commit, knowing damn well you don't want her. Let her go, but you won't let her go because your ego can't stand to see something you throw away get picked out the trash by another man and turned into a jewel. We are wasting too much of y'all time by dragging y'all along emotionally, and that's not good because black women have a biological clock. Y'all have a tick-tock on how long y'all can have babies, and because of that, we shouldn't be wasting time with y'all. If we're not serious, we should let y'all go.
Yeah, and let me add to that.
We got to stop putting our hands on our women. Too much domestic abuse, too much domestic violence. Too many black children are watching their mothers get abused by their fathers, and it's creating intergenerational trauma. So yes, there's a lot we need to do better for y'all. And I'm here to apologize to all my sisters in Australia for any black man that has done you wrong, because we need to level up in ways other than money that money can't fix for us. So I'm with you, Queen.
Absolutely.
We need to become better men, but we need y'all to be a little bit more sensitive to the economic challenges that black men face.
Welcome back to the channel. You see the information on the screen, so you already know what I'm about. So let's get into it. One of the problems that I always have, and those that have been following me for a while know I really don't like it when we take 1 or 2 minute segments, or if somebody is out there and they kind of give a statement or maybe a little bit of their vision of something, but then they don't really go into depth, because there's a lot more in the depth of things. And I think, honestly, a lot of times that is where people have a lot of their disagreements. So this particular, video evidently is with Dr. Umar. And I'm going to read a few of the comments, and then I'll kind of go into what I'm talking about. So the very first comment is from a gentleman, and he basically says he is speaking the truth. Another one says, usually I agree with Dr. Umar, but this isn't one of those times because it's the other way around. We as black women are there with the black man while he's shooting in the gym and then gets passed over. Then here's somebody else. Dr. Umar, we do this too. They still leave or cheat. The difference is black women will not tolerate it and leave, or most white women stay. Why would someone stay if they want to cheat? And then here's the final one I'm going to talk about is Dr. Umar, I'm a word. No. Black women are soaring. Black men need to step it up next. All right. And see, what's really going on is that different people are at different places. All right. And again, in the black community, we love to loop everybody into this one bucket. And that's really why there's so many problems that is really going on in the black community. See, it's not just about the fact that, people are missing information, which is true. Even Jesus talks about that. In the fact that, the Bible says, my people, fail for lack of knowledge. And we actually have different perspectives based off how much knowledge we actually have. Because our individual knowledge and our individual connections are the real reason why some of us experience one thing and some of us experience something totally different. So what do I mean by this? Well, let's go back to Dr. Umar's original statement. And he talks about how a lot of white women will find black men that are on their way. And again, if you're brand new to my channel, you might have not heard this before from me, but I'm always equating a man and even a woman as though they are train engines. All right. And many of us have seen trains, through our communities and, going back and forth. Right. And a train goes down one set of tracks. One set of tracks is just one set of tracks that it can get on at a time. And it has to come to a junction before it can actually switch tracks. And there are some trains, i.e. men, that see their vision way, way, way off in the distance, and they are moving toward that vision. Every day they get up with the mindset of saying, okay, how can I get closer and closer to the vision that I have for myself or that God has called me to? And what I'm always encouraging women to do is to attach to a man that not only has a vision, but that he's moving toward that vision. And that's the difference. Because see, a lot of men will basically be sitting in the station and they'll be basically saying, hey, I want to do this in my life. But it's a difference between a man that is actually moving toward, creating that dream, creating that vision, and a man that is literally sitting in the station. And once a man starts moving, he may need help along that path. And a woman, no matter what her race or culture, really wants to get with the man as he is on that path. But see, a lot of black women have never been taught that. They've never really been told where to find the man. What they see instead is a lot of media, given to us really over the last 30 to 40 years. Many women, that's all they've seen their entire life. Of, like, Dr. Umar said, the finished product, i.e. the man at this point is probably moving, 65, 70, 80 miles an hour down, the railroad track. And at that point, it is very hard, for a lot of women to catch him. Even if he's single, it is hard for them to attach themselves to him when he is speeding at that level. It is much easier to catch him on his way as he's ramping up to those higher speeds. And other cultures, not just white women, but other cultures, that's what they've been taught. They've been taught by their fathers, generally speaking, because we're talking about women here. So those women were taught by their dad to say, hey, you find a man that is moving, that he is in motion, that he is doing something with his life. And many black women understand this because they'll get little bits and pieces. Like, for instance, there was a woman recently that came out on one of the Zoom calls that we have at Thursday Talks here on this channel, which, is every other Thursday. And she was talking about how her, father had always taught her to date a man with rough hands, that she was not to date a man with smooth hands. Now, you have to realize, again, we got to take this in perspective of when her dad was growing up versus, now and different things like that. And I think she has to make that transition in her mind. However, what he was telling her was you want a man who understands how to make things with his own hands, that he has the ability to make work out of no work. So even if he gets laid off from his job, he has a skill that he can sell and he can actually continue to make money. Again, that is that father trying to teach that daughter how to pick men. All right. But the essence is still the same. You're getting a man who has the skills, has the understanding, he's building knowledge to go down the railroad track to the vision of what he is trying to do in his life. Right. And see, because a lot of black women do not have fathers, they're raised in environments where their mom is basically going from baby daddy to baby daddy to baby daddy. Even if, okay, the mom is dating different men, and even if that mom only has one daughter, okay, so saying all these new baby daddies that she's coming into, maybe they're a baby daddy for another woman, okay? So I'm not saying that the same woman is creating all these baby daddies, but the concept is still the same. She's dealing with what we call, the wayward man. That's how the Bible would say it. The Bible would call these people wayward men. Today, we might call them F-boys. We might call them, like I say, baby daddies. But it's still the same concept. Those types of men do not stay around long enough to invest in the child. And even if they stay for several years, okay, the child might not trust them enough to even take their advice, even if it's good advice. So what's happening is you have a lot of women and a lot of men that are basically being raised without the strong influence of a man in their life teaching them what to look for in a man. Because as crazy as it sounds, that's really kind of what you want, but you want it from a source, okay, that is not going to judge you, that is going to love you no matter what, right? So when you get it from a healthy father figure, he's not trying to manipulate you, he's not trying to hurt you, he's just trying to teach you and help you along the way. And if he himself is doing his best to take care of his children, okay, whether, like I say, it's with your mom or not, okay, that generally is going to be that type of guy that's going to try to speak life into you and try to teach you ways to make better decisions. But see, we miss this. But see, a lot of white women, Latino women, Asian women, Indian women, okay, they don't miss this. Now, unfortunately, more and more are missing this. Okay, because again, we have a society that has started to crumble, especially when it comes to the family. But right now, when it comes to black people, we are just, outweighed as far as the amount of us that don't have this knowledge, right? But what I'm trying to let you, the women that are following this right now, understand is that is the key. But you have to understand how it's working and how the person is pushing forward. Again, let me give you an example so that you will know, how to deal with this. As a woman, okay, when you meet a man, you're not to marry his potential. That is a mistake, okay? And again, with a 1.5 minute video, you might believe that, oh, wow, there was that guy. Maybe I should have got with him because, he had that. That's not what you do. You marry his vision, not his potential, his vision. Okay? And so how does this work? You meet guy A and he says that he has this idea of, building this business, right? And let's say you hang out with him for 3 months and that's the time to me of you making a decision whether or not you're going to stay with a guy or move on. Okay, that is your decision time, that 90 days. All right, don't stay with somebody, okay, if they don't seem like they're going anywhere after 90 days. And you can't worry about what he's going to be 2 years from now or what he was 2 years ago. You have to deal with what you're dealing with at that time. All right, because it's another slight story. But the bottom line is everybody's a slightly different with the person that they're with at that moment. OK, but again, that's a little bit different lesson. So anyway, when you're dealing with that guy right there in that moment for those 90 days, and he says, OK, I'm about to build this business. I'm working on this business, blah, blah, blah. Again, what is he doing to build the business? Is he doing research? Is he going back to school? Okay. Is he buying books? Is he buying any other materials that will help him build that business? If he is not doing that, he has a lot of potential. Okay. But he's not going anywhere. His train is still in the station or is stuck on the tracks. It is going 0 miles an hour. Okay. That is who that man is. Now you meet guy B. And guy B talks about his idea, about his building a business or going back to school or whatever. I'm not saying you don't have to be a business, builder type of person, but he's talking about building this business, but he's in school, or he has bought materials, or he is spending time, like 80% of his time on YouTube, researching different things and looking stuff up and trying to get a good understanding. And every single time you get around him, he has more information that he just learned about this business that he's trying to put together. See, that is a man, his train is moving. Okay, he might not be going fast. He might only be going 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour down the train tracks, but he is moving. And see, that's the difference when it comes to picking these men. All right. So one is all talk. The other one is movement. Now, if you are a woman and you don't ask the right questions, and or you are the type of woman that is in your own business, okay, it can be difficult for you to recognize what's going on. Because one of the things that I've learned is that a lot of people, when they're dating, again, they're not asking the right questions. They're asking questions, but they're not always asking the right questions. As a woman, you should always be asking questions that line up with the non-negotiables. All right? It's always really interesting how a lot of women don't do that. They will ask questions about everything else, because a lot of these, people out here, on these YouTube spaces are telling women 20 questions to ask a guy and this, that, and the third. But what they're not doing is they're not trying to get the information that lines up with the non-negotiables. And the non-negotiables that I put on the screen, a lot of times, even when I've been going around different places and doing different reviews and even talking to other people, what I've noticed is that almost everybody that's truly studied this, their non-negotiables are almost the same. It might not be exactly the same, but it's very close. And that is the point. And as the men that are watching this video, because I know there's going to be men that's going to watch this video, it's the same thing for the woman, right? See, like as a man, one of the things, like I said, because you see beauty on the screen. So one of the things that I'm always looking for is the woman ever going to dress up? Is she ever going to glow herself up? I don't care whether or not she's does natural. I don't care, if she does makeup. I don't care if she does wigs or weaves or whatever it is. That's really irrelevant. The point is, when I'm around her, is she ever going to try to be cute for me? Or say something like, I would love for you to take me out because I really want to dress up and be cute for you. Those are the types of signals that let me know, okay, this woman understands at least a little bit about this beauty piece of the non-negotiables. And that's not necessarily a question that I have to ask her. It's something that I actually can experience. Do you kind of understand? So some questions, you can literally just see how you experience them, if this makes sense. So as a woman, you're looking for a man that's going to protect you, provide for you, and also lead you. So if you come into environments, like you say, if you say, hey, I want to go out, and this is a really great one for a woman. You say, I want to go out to eat. I would love to go out to eat on a Friday night or whatever. And it's Friday night. Maybe it's Friday night. Maybe, it's 5 o'clock. He says he's going to come over at 6. Is he, at that moment, as soon as you said that, does he start to research? Does he start to look in his phone? Does he start to think and try to figure out, okay, where you all can go to eat? Or does it come into this situation where he's like, well, I don't know, where you want to go? And I understand that sometimes you might go back and forth with it for a little bit. You might say, well, I'm really hungry. I would really like to go get something to eat. And then he's like, well, where do you want to go? And then you're like, well, I don't really know. You want Mexican, you want pizza, you want, Chinese, you want American. And then you're like, well, I don't know. I don't really have a taste for anything. Yes, that's normal back and forth. All right. I want to make sure I say that. But the point is, within a certain amount of time, probably 5 to 10 minutes, he should be able to figure out a place for you to go, and it should not be stressing you out. Now, if you tend to be particular, and I wanted to make sure I put this in here, if you tend to be a particular woman and you want to go to certain special places, you have to realize that is an energy that is on you, and you actually need to speak up, because he's not going to know that you want to go to one specific restaurant in the middle of New York City or in the middle of Baltimore or in the middle of Dallas and you've never mentioned it. Okay? He's not a mind reader. So I just want to make sure I say that. But again, what you're looking for him to do is to do these things. And see, again, a lot of white women and a lot of Asian women, a lot of Latino women, they know how to ask these questions. They've watched their mother go through this all the time with their father. They know how to be patient while their father figures things out. They know how to go through their process because they've gone through 18 years of watching their parents go through life together. And this is why I always say, you cannot get away from the 18 years that you've missed. However, you can basically use that and say, okay, what do I need to learn now? Okay, and how do I safeguard myself toward finding really great people to go towards the future? And one of the things that honestly discourages me a lot of times when it comes to social media is, again, like I said at the very beginning, those are the conversations that people don't like to have, because those are the conversations that will actually fix your problem, if this makes sense. All right. So again, why are, the white women winning even when it comes to black men? But I will also say that a lot of white men are winning when it comes to some black women, because first of all, you have to be around the person. Okay. You got to be around the person. But then after that, if people know the signals, if they know what they're looking for, it tends to work well. Like I actually just did a video and I was talking about the differences in divorce rates. And they were saying one of the highest divorce rates is actually between white women and black men. But that's why all this is relevant. See, a lot of white women, they know what to look for. They know the questions to ask, but it's still very surface because they're assuming that the black man has the depth of what they're used to, okay, many times from their own culture. And a lot of times they'll get with certain black men that they're assuming, okay, are going to take care of certain things, and then those black men don't do it. And so now they don't feel like they're being protected, provided, and led, and so therefore they divorce. And those white women are generally very quick to divorce because they understand that this is not the environment that they want to be in, if this makes sense, right? And this, again, this is not me slighting black men at any level or me slighting black women at any level. What I am saying here is that most of this comes from two things: perspective, and then the second thing is the understanding of what you're supposed to be doing. And like I said before, that's why this channel exists, to try to help you. Because like I said, a lot of people are really great daters. And a lot of the influencers out here teach women and men how to be great daters. But they don't teach you how to get married. Because there's a huge difference between a girlfriend and a wife, or a boyfriend and a husband. These are totally different things. And a lot of people don't quite understand that. And when I've been around people and even seen how they talk, and as people come out to Christian Singles Connect or Christian Millennials Connect for those under 40, what I see is people, again, they'll be walking as girlfriends or boyfriends, and they keep doing this over and over and over again, and they think that's going to work for them, and then it never works for them. And they're like, well, I'm a nice person, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. But I'm like, you're not doing the husband or wifey things. And because of that, the best people, the people that come from really great environments, the people that understand their worth, and that's both for men and for women, they're not going to deal with it. Yeah, they'll hang out with you. Okay, they'll watch Netflix with you, but they're not going to take it all the way to the top level. And a lot of women can really get themselves messed up because they'll spend time being that placeholder while the man is actually looking for that woman who truly understands all of these things. All black women need to do, and they need to take from this, is, again, you're looking for the man who is moving, right? And the man that you're looking for, he does need to have a lot of his vision / money together. If he's not already almost at that 85 or 75 mile per hour level, then he needs to be, like I say, moving. And he also needs to have a plan in order to actually get there. And that plan doesn't need to be a 10-year plan. He needs to, like I say, moving far enough for his plan to be something that you can see within 2 or 3 years. And then the final thing I'm going to say on this is, like I said, you need to make sure that you're what he wants. And that's a very tricky one, all right? It is extremely tricky. I mean, the easiest way to know that is he willing to do something for you that he doesn't want to do? Okay, that's generally the way that it works. But there are men out there that have just been trained well. And so it's harder to figure it out. So you'll constantly, I'll be honest with you, have to ask questions or even try to figure out what he likes, what he's looking for, and are you really meeting the needs that he has? All right. And when I say needs here, I'm not talking about sexual, because again, a lot of women think that they can rule a man with sex, but you're only going to rule low value men with sex. Sex doesn't, rule high value or marriage worthy or men that actually have their life together. They're not going to be run by sex. I'm just being honest. That's just not going to be enough, to make a big dent in those men's lives. So anyway, hope this helped. Please like and subscribe. Remember, every other Thursday, we do Thursday Talk. So if you hit the notification bell, YouTube will actually let you know when that happens. But you can also check the community tab, or you can actually go out and join Christian Singles Connect or Christian Millennials Connect. Like I say, if you're under 40, don't worry about the fact that you're not here in Atlanta, because like I say, you'll be able to at least get, the Thursday Talk events and some of the other things, that we're, going over, and some of the things that we're doing here on this channel. But anyway, until then, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the very next video.